Welcome to Fabulous Life Confabulations. I am Dennise Williams, your host, and I am here with three other awesome coaches. And we're about helping you to find success on your own terms. So, Fabulous Life, we have life coaches that look at money, mindset, creativity, wellness, beauty, transformation. This is about a holistic approach to you. Now, this episode, we're going to look at building reserves, resilience, renewal. We're going to share secrets on how to build a fabulous life. And as I said, I'm Dennise Williams, mom in chief, financial coach, founder of Fabulous Life. And before I introduce the great coaches that are with us tonight, I just want to remind you we're gearing up for an awesome event in January. We will be sharing more details in this spot, so stay tuned and always check us out on a Tuesday. Okay. I want to say hi to the dean who's normally with us. She's not here. Encouraging you to go bold in a safe space. So I know she's going bold in a safe space with her husband. I'll say no more. So I am going to hand over to Dennise, Dennise Francis Robinson, our creativity coach. Dennise, over to you. Yes, 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 yes.
Awesome.
Hey, but I thought we were going to talk about how we felt first.
Right.
And I want to say, yes, and I want to say that I feel Christmassy. Today, folks, is December the 1st.
Yeah.
And I am feeling the spirit of Christmas. I'm feeling the Christmas breeze. And we're about to put up the Christmas tree. And so, people thought that at this time, because of what 2020 has been like, that Christmas is going to be, and I think that it's going to be actually a very special Christmas. I think it's going to be a Christmas that really is centered on family and love and thankfulness for the gifts that we have of life, of health, of just being together, even though it's a small group or maybe connecting over Zoom. I really think it's going to be an awesome Christmas. Very special.
Oh, expanded. So today I'm being expanded. I'm feeling expanded because that is the mode that I am in. It is that season of the year, and when you are calling in more, not just for yourself, but for the country, for your friends, for the world, you have to expand your capacity to receive that which you're calling in. So right now, I'm feeling so expanded with potentialities.
Wow, let me tell you, these are some big confabulous words. Everybody's just, I just feel happy. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be in a space where we're sharing and learning, and happy to be in somewhere in a safe space. So, I mean, yeah, oh, and of course, now I feel expanded, and of course, I feel Christmassy. So, I just want to say thank you for sharing that energy.
Liz, I know this word. It's a famous word from Ken Wilbur, and it's called utilization. So we're utilizing what shows up in the moment. Everybody is everything. Expanded.
Actually, that term also it came from Milton Erickson, the hypnotherapist, hypnotist, as some people would call him, but he's a psychologist, was, and a very famous hypnotherapist. So that's what he used as part of his technique for hypnotherapy utilization. Yeah.
Look here, there were some big words, big words.
Yeah. Confabulousness. All right. Sure, sure. So, Dennise, over to you. Right. Thank you very much. So, today, as Dennise said, we were going to be talking about renewal, resilience, building your reserves. So, I'm going to focus on resiliency. And it is a very topical word now. Many folks are thinking about how they can be more resilient, how they can build their reserves. And so let's first of all look at what is resilience. You know, we talk about it, but what really is it? So I'm going to give you a couple definitions just to make sure we're on the right track. And so the first one is that it's really a substance which can return to its usual shape after it is bent, stretched, or pressed. So we can all admit that we have been stretched and pressed down, and maybe some of us bent out of shape, but I know that our co-chair, Dr. Andrea, she's going to put you back in shape. And so the next definition is about the ability to be happy and successful again, even after something very difficult or bad has happened to you. And so I'm going to take that second definition because I'm going to treat tonight with mindset as the basis for resiliency. So, what really is mindset? So mindset is really a collection of attitudes, beliefs, values, thoughts, feelings, all of those things that are stirring around inside of us that really influence and ignite and drive our behavior or actions and our choices. So it's all of those things that maybe we don't give a lot of thought to because it's just some mistake, right? But we have a lot of very intense life experiences, most of us. If you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, or 70 or above, you will have had many life experiences. And some of those have been difficult ones. Some of them have been good things. And whatever the outcome, we have told ourselves stories about the way things are. And fortunately, some of us have grown, have learned the lessons of life, and have grown through it. And we also have the experience of being parts of groups like You know, we are part of this grouping, the coaches. And we also have other groups that may include us or exclude us. All of those things go towards forming and shaping our life experiences and our mindset. So how can you change them? Well, thank God we can in fact change our mindset. And we do so by changing our values. And people say, well, can your values be changed? Well, yes, they can. We can actually. There are techniques and tools that we use to help you to, some may call it realign your values with the things that are really important to you now, because sometimes we change and we need to grow and to expand our values. So we can change our values and we can also change our beliefs. And some people say, no, Liz, we can't change our beliefs, but yes, you can. And we can do that in a variety of ways through maybe changing the stories that we're telling ourselves, and through coaching, through training. All of these help to influence the way that we think and our model of the world and how it works. So, Dennise, could you bring up that slide again with the conscious and unconscious mind? Because it's important. Nobody really taught us about the fact that, yes, we have a conscious mind that hopefully all of us are aware of. And we also have an unconscious mind, which most of us don't really know what's happening down there. We only know that we have one. And so it's important for us to recognize that the conscious mind, in terms of the influence and power and the energy it has over our lives, is about 5% of the entirety. And it says, well, I say 5%, but any books that you read will tell you anywhere between 5 and 10. And then the unconscious mind has a whopping, ladies and gentlemen, a whopping 95%. So you can imagine, if we don't know what's going on there in that soup, then it can really be to our detriment. Now notice that I have this on the left-hand side of the screen, a terminology that says the goal setter, pointing to the conscious mind. So we refer to the conscious mind as the goal setter. Because why? The conscious mind is that part of our mind which is aligned to our will, right? Our willpower, our decision making, our logical, rational thinking. It gives us focus. So the conscious mind is very important because, of course, it has this role of being the guide, if you will, for our unconscious mind. So our unconscious mind is called the goal getter. And the unconscious mind is really an amalgamation of aspects of ourselves, including that which, really controls our physical well-being and so forth. But it also has this other aspect, which is the repository for our values, for our beliefs, for all our emotions and our feelings, for all the memories, every experience that we have had, even if we cannot remember it consciously, all our habits, because our habits that we have are unconscious. That's why we're not even aware that we're doing them. And it also, as I mentioned, is in charge of our automaticity, our instincts, and our flow. When we say that we are in flow, it's our unconscious mind that has really taken over. So why am I telling you all of those things in respect of resiliency? Well, I'm mentioning them because truthfully, they are what we would call part of our reserves. Now, in order to be resilient, we have to build our reserves. And sometimes our beliefs that we have are not really working for us. If you could change the slide, Dennise. Right. So we have to step back and to think about now, what are we thinking? What are we feeling? Because that is the first point in being able to get the result that we want. A lot of people focus very much on the doing, the acting, the planning, the checking, all of those things that we do, especially in the corporate world, right? So we make goals and we make plans and we make them at a very conscious level. But we need to be able to step back beyond that and to figure out who we are being. Who are we, in terms of our thoughts, in terms of our feelings, because that translates, if we are leaders in an organization, for example, into the vision that we have, into our values, and into, in fact, our leadership style. Next slide. So, in order to develop your inner reserves, your identity, your limiting beliefs and decisions, these are all aspects of ourselves which are at an unconscious level. So in order to make the change, the first thing that we have to do is to identify what's not working for us. So do you know what your limiting beliefs are? Many of us are just aware that there's some things that we can't do, or there's some things that we have a very fixed mentality about. I would never, never, ever go ziplining, because I can't do it. Or I can never, ever be thin because that's just not my makeup. I can't be academically, successful because everybody did tell me when I was growing up that me dance. Right? So we develop all of these limiting beliefs and decisions about ourselves. So the first thing we have to do is to be able to identify them. And the next thing, Dennise, is our ability to then make a list of all the strengths that we have. Very often, our good old reptilian brain likes to remind us of all the negative things about us. So we have to make a very effort. We have to remind ourselves that we do have our strengths and that we need to remember them. And by doing that, we give ourselves leverage and the ability to use those strengths in ways going forward and even in the right now. Because often we don't recall that there are times, for example, that we've been really confident and that we can have that confidence right now. Next. We need to pay attention to where we place our focus, because as it said, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So we have about 90,000 thoughts per day. And I'd like to ask you, how many of those are the same ones that you had yesterday? Have you had any new thoughts today?
Ah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, what percentage of those thoughts are focused on the things you don't want? We like to complain.
Yes.
We complain. And every time we complain, we impact our feeling and we relive the experience and we take ourselves back to the experience and we lower our vibrations. If you're into the law of attraction, then you need to recognize that when you are in the state of complaining, you are taking yourself away from the very goals that you want. So you need to pay attention to where you have your focus. Remember your strengths and identify your limiting beliefs and what you'd like to have instead. And you need to be cause to your effect. So there's an equation that says cause is greater than effect. And most of us are on the effect side of the equation, meaning that we always have reasons why we are not getting the results that we want. But when we step over to the cause side of the equation, we actually take 100% responsibility for our lives and the results that we get. And that means that we become empowered. Because if we are at effect, it means we're always blaming somebody else, or COVID, or my mother, or my papi, or somebody, but not me. So we have to take back the reins and we have to really ask ourselves, who is sitting in our driver's seat? Is it us, or are we giving away our power? We need to take our power back. So that's one way also that we can help to build our reserves. We need to remind ourselves that we are actually fully responsible. Another thing that we can do is to focus on the solution mindset, as we call it. Because when we are constantly recognizing that for every problem there must be a solution, then you can be sure we're going to find one. And equally, we can be sure that if we are focused on the problem, that we are going to have more of it. So the more that we can recognize that there is a solution to everything that comes our way, then we will look at the world through the lens of possibility instead of the lens of, oh, give up, surrender. It's just what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. And the more that you focus on the possibilities and you start getting results, it's like a loop that keeps on getting stronger and stronger. And so you build your confidence and your reserves. And in that way, you can give yourself the ability to bounce back better. So that's it for me for tonight, folks.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, first, I want to welcome Liza Roach to our group. Hi, I know she's waiting in the wings a little bit late. How you doing, Sparkle? You?
I'm good. How are you?
Okay, great. I did want to say, I agree exactly what you say, Dennise, is that when the coaches speak, I see myself and I take the lessons. And for me, yes, COVID and other things that I rehash in my head every day, the 90,000 of the same things. But yes, I also agree
Mm-hmm.
that um I do agree that absolutely the law of attraction, we need to, raise our vibration. And that's the objective for this program, to raise our vibration. Absolutely. Mhm.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was here being a backseat cheerleader for Liz as she went through some of the mindset stuff. And I'll find a point just to reiterate or give a spin on some of that. Well, Andrea Blackwood Harriet, here with you again. I'm so, 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 so happy. I am your reshape coach and I focus on executive C-suite women, just teaching them how to get back their joy, their vigor, and their vitality, developing a better relationship with themselves and more balance in their life. So, part of having your reserve is like thinking about yourself as the factory, right? If the factory breaks down, there can be no production. And as executive women, oftentimes we're out there on the rough and ragged edge, and we're just not in tune. We're accumulating, and then we are the ones who are just left behind. We have left ourselves, we have left our spirit, we have left our health behind. So, in terms of developing reserves, I'm going to be covering 3 areas and then touch on the area that Liz left off on, right? Which is like your mindset. So the 3 areas, 4 areas really, and that's your spirituality, your nutrition, your exercise, and your mindset, in particular, your mental health, that's part of the resilience you have to build up. So let me ask you, have you ever had a time in your life when you have just surrendered to spirit, when you have felt that there was more to you than just this bony flesh and whatever else, muscle, sinews, body? You ever felt there was more to you, felt a presence, felt that, oh my God, you're with me? Yes, absolutely. Many of us wait until we're like in the valley of the shadow of death before we say, Lord, save me. When in fact you can be very, very intentional about connecting to spirit, about manifesting what you want. And so your capacity to manifest by calling on the spirit that guides us all, the energy that drives us all, by calling on the spirit, then basically you can pre-pave the way to whatever you're looking for. And oftentimes when you don't feel resource, you have all the resource in the world just for the asking. Then he spoke about, being in the receiving mode. And as a executive, as entrepreneurs, oftentimes we're pushing, as if we're pushing boulders up a steep hill. Whereas if you call on the unseen forces that you can really feel, that you're a part of, then you will know the power of the spirit. And so, we have spoken to you about meditation. We have spoken to you about affirmation, affirming with the belief that, and so it is. And so it is. That's where that comes from. And so it is, like as it was in the beginning. I have come here with all the resources I need. It may not be in front of me, but I can call it forth and get into the receiving mode. And if that sounds like woo-woo to you, Dennise mentioned law of attraction. There are other genres of manifestation, but they all follow a similar path. It's recognizing spirit in you, right? And reaching out for that which comes before manifestation, which is all the energies of the world. And I have there just some of my favorite persons. If you have not been exposed to them, they're for free on YouTube. So just pick one and look at something tonight. And if you are already familiar with these authors and spiritual leaders, then choose your favorite one and get back into the mode of asking like a child and expecting to receive and being in the receiving mode where you are infinitely resourced. So that's number one. That is my first pillar, and that is the alpha. Then as a health coach, spirituality also impacts your health. And that has been proven when you are in that mode of connectivity to spirit, then it's like you ask how Jesus could heal. And some persons will say, in the presence of Jesus, you were vibrating at such a level that your infirmities just vanished away. So it's also for healing. Now let's get to some more practical thing, like nutrition, right? Tangible. And 70% of doctors' visits are for nutritional related ailments. Can you imagine? 70%. And 70% of your body's defense system is in the gut. So if you can take care of your natural defenses, then you will have reserves to pilot through incidences like COVID. Now, COVID is kind of extreme, but what about your health and vitality to just do what you felt you came here to do, to live on purpose, to help your children, grandchildren, sibling, to enjoy Christmas as you would like to, okay? So you want to be building your house on a rock so that when the rains come, when the winds blow, then your house will stand firm. And I liken your body to a house. And the nutrients you put in your body to all the good, whatever you're using, sand and steel and cement and marble with the right level of flexibility and sturdiness. What kind of body are you building? So the first action I want to kind of give you, I won't go to a whole nutrition discourse this afternoon. You've gotten some and there's more to come. But let's just give you like 4 things that will put you on the way to being so nutritionally balanced. Slow your eating down. We've just been consuming too much. Your stomach is as big as a fist. That is what is meant to nourish your body. And yet some people eat as much as their head. And so one way of feeling satisfied and not overeating is to slow your eating process down. Yes, you've heard about chewing 35 times until the food goes down your palate automatically. It just slides down. But another way to slow down the process of eating is to have something hot before you eat, or to have your food hot. So you can have hot tea, you can have hot soup as a precursor to eating a meal, or you can also have a hot meal. That slows down how much you can consume before the brain records that, hey, the body is being fed. So that's one. The other thing is to eat more protein. Protein has as much calories as your carbs. It also keeps you full longer. It's the building block of the body. And so why don't you add some more protein? But protein costs a lot. Yes and no. Beans. Always complement your main meal with a side of peas or beans. Great fiber, great protein. Eggs. You can always add egg to anything, to soup, to salad, whatever, and get more protein. And then there's some nice tin food, like sardines, very, very pure, and salmon and mackerel. So I'm saying, who can afford those? Who can afford to bulk up their meal with protein of this type? I would think everybody. And if you're a vegan, okay, stick to the beans and peas, okay? The other thing is to reduce sugar. There's been so much documentation on the ills of sugar. And why am I talking about this? It is so that your house, your body will have resiliency and reserves. So sugar poisons the body, make you susceptible to diseases, and build down your natural health reserves. And finally, drink more water. Half of your body in weight, drink that in ounces per day of water. Why? When you're like 30% dehydrated, then your mental capacity is impaired by 50%. You don't drive well, you don't see well, you're irritable, you're tired, you're sleepy, you are without resources. So drink more water and resource yourself. So those are the nutrition tips. The other tips I want to give you about exercise. Okay, so nowadays in my field, like when somebody comes to me and say, "Oh, I really need to improve my health, but I'm going to the gym, but nothing is happening, right?" Or I'm going to the gym, but I find it so hard. Or like a friend I have on this on this program, and she'll say to me, "I love the gym. I am just so awesome when I am in the gym." Okay, well, I won't say don't do the gym, but I'm going to say that you don't have to do the gym because you can just do natural things like a child. A child is always reaching and stretching and exercising all his or her muscles to get what she wants. Also, a child is always running. Can you step up your pace? Can you walk more briskly? What can you do that you do over and over repeatedly? And that will make you get exercises naturally. Now, should I pause? I'm not seeing my colleagues. It says I am in the show. And I will, oh, colleagues. All right.
We're here. Yes, we just made you the spotlight.
I wasn't seeing my slides or anything. So I was just chatting with you in your virtual space, right? And so the last one I want to talk about is just laughing. That you can burn 30 calories for a moderate smile. Can you imagine, like me? I should be so slim because I'm always belly full of laughter. Yes? Yeah. Right. Mhm.
Laughing yoga.
Right. And the
Yeah.
laugh also changes your mood. Yes. So there's a funny exercise that I do in the morning just to switch my energy for the day. I'll wake up, I'll put a big smile on my face, then I'll pretend to swallow it. So if you smile and swallow it and feel it at your neck, feel the smile going down here, and every time you imagine the smile somewhere else, you are doubling up with laughter. You laugh all the way down to your toes. Send the laugh down one leg, bring it back up, down the other. You can just have a rampage of laughter before you get out of bed. So those are the tips I wanted to bring you about resourcing yourself for better health. And I'm so happy to have presented them to you. I hope you find something to implement. Thank you. Yeah. Follow it. Follow it and have fun. It's amazing. Yes, yes, yes. Part of your healthy health. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Can I just share what I do? Sometimes sometimes for my meditation in the morning, I actually visualize, the little smiley emojis. I visualize that all my cells are actually those smiley emojis. So it's the same kind of idea, you just feel completely lifted.
Power of association. Power of association with you.
Yes. So the winning lotto numbers are right. So the winning numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right. So now we've all cashed in. So of course I bring in my water to be hydrated so that I do make better. Yes. Yes. So we make better decisions. Okay. So all right. So we're talking about building your money mindset as a financial reserve. And because we all need to have a better relationship with our money. I think, if no other time has shown us, it's been COVID. So in your money mindset, the question is it a limited resource? Is your cash um going to run out in your mind? Is that how you treat your cash? Or is money an asset for you to maximize to improve your lifestyle? And one of the things that helped me come, or I came to this conclusion many years ago when I was just a baby as a journalist, because of course I'm not over 40. I went to an event and the speaker said his philosophy was you don't have to give him cash, but make sure you give him money. And I didn't understand that. Like, what was that? And so I went to speak to him after the event. He said, what do you mean? And he said, listen, cash with inflation, somebody gives you, ask your grandparents what they could have done with $1,000 US. They probably could have bought a house, but money is things that grow in value. It's your talent, it's art, it's the people you network with, it's your knowledge, it's your skills. Money is everything. So he's like, if somebody doesn't even give him cash, but they leave him better off, they've given him money. And I took that to heart. And I've always really built my life on that. Don't get me wrong, I really want cash. So let's be clear. But I understood what he meant in that money was really what you want because it's a tool. So the cash will run out if you don't know how to get more. But if you know that money is a tool, you're going to treat it as such and it will benefit your lifestyle. Okay, but all of us, me number one, probably, we have a scarcity mindset, and then that results in cash scarcity. So, I work with clients to release different levels of money scarcity because it affects different layers. We've been talking about mindset, starting with, layers and NLP. Well, all these different layers in your mind that scarcity can touch. Okay, so let's go through a couple of the layers of scarcity and see which one strikes a nerve. So social scarcity is you don't have a good network to support you. If you don't have a good network, you're not gonna make good financial decisions. Or you don't even know how to make money, maybe. Competency scarcity comes from a feeling that you're not skilled to attract the money you want. Emotional scarcity is where you feel that people can't be trusted, and so again you treat your money accordingly. Attention scarcity is where you feel your contribution is not valued, so you do more and you're on this treadmill of doing more and more because you're trying to get some kind of validation. Spiritual scarcity, Doc touched on that. It's you have a disconnect from your higher power, and that would have given you hope, purpose, a sense of contribution. Encouragement scarcity manifests where you've been convinced you do not deserve what you want. Okay, so that's where your scarcity comes from. Intellectual scarcity is where your creative, your intellectual, your analytical potential is dismissed, diminished, devalued. Okay? And all of that comes down to financial scarcity, where you become blind to opportunities, blind to the talents, and blind to the general awesomeness of your gifts. Okay. So that said, you can come out of the scarcity mindset. You can be stronger than ever. So we want to develop a circulation mindset towards money as opposed to spending. When you spend, it's not coming back. Done, finish. Circulation, everything you spend comes back to you in some way, shape, or form. So energy doesn't die. And if you can treat your money like that, you bless your bills, you bless your paycheck, you bless your clients, because it's all part of this virtual circle. I can tell you, I've seen it. Money, and the thing is, if we're again, I understand we need cash. Let's not even pretend like we don't need cash. But if we only define our abundance, our wealth as on just this fungible cash, we're in a lot of trouble. We're in a lot of trouble. Many times, I've spoke to people who they have assets, and mind you, they don't have the cash, but they have assets that if they liquidated, then they would have cash and they'd be better off. But they don't have cash in their hands, so they don't matter that their house, has appreciated by millions in Jamaican dollar terms, or equity has, gone up by 10, 15, 20, 100,000 in US dollar terms. They're not counting that, so they don't feel better off. But even, I'm going to go through some tips to help you to actually get some cash in hand while you do the work on the scarcity mindset. So let's run through it. Okay, you're going to have a date with your money. You're going to take 5 minutes out of the day, check your bank account, pay more attention to your spending habits, and to remind yourself that you care and are in control of your money, as opposed to you more being a victim of circumstances, because that's where you lose your power. The next thing is that you're going to treat money, finances like a learnable skill. You were not born driving a car. You were not born with the skill set that you currently have. You may feel so, but Dennise, I'm positive you weren't born with a paintbrush. You did have to learn. So, doc, wellness wasn't something, you weren't born with it. You knew that you wanted the skill and you learned it. So all of us can learn about money. And I mean, that's just a big thing. And you don't have to be, it's not like I'm saying go and get a PhD in finance and understand, the mathematical equations that make money work. I'm simply saying, where are you having a difficult area? That's where the skill set needs to develop. That's what's calling you to learn about that area. Next. All right. So here we go. We're going to reach out and we're going to get help. There are government benefits. Now, more than any other time, you need to Google, pick up the phone, call somebody. There are government benefits out there to help. Okay? Your citizenship, whatever country you're a citizen of, is an asset. And you are entitled to certain benefits as a citizen. Don't leave them on the table. Don't just pretend you're not a citizen. If you're a Jamaican citizen, you're entitled to NHT benefit. If you've got an NHT benefit, 15 years past, you're entitled to a second loan. That's money that's available to you. So guess what? Your citizenship is an asset. Okay? If you're a US citizen, again, there are benefits. If you're a UK citizen, there are benefits, right? There's actually groups right now of UK citizens whose grandparents were born in the Caribbean, and they need to get their Caribbean passports, so it's Trinidad or Jamaica or Dominica or whatever, because they recognize that there is benefits in being a citizen of the country, so they don't want to leave those benefits behind. So you don't either. You have cash value on your insurance policies. If you're in a bind, that may help. That may also, you can check out, is this cash value getting the best return? You may want to pull some and invest elsewhere, but at least check it out. Get the information. Become your own advocate. I'm saying it slowly, become your own advocate in investing and saving. Why? Because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to chase after the bank for you. You have to make sure you're getting the best service from the bank. Okay? So we're talking about growing, upskill. It's time now. Learn a new skill. Okay? I think that we all have talents we can stretch. Doc said it in the beginning of the program. She's in an expansion mode. Let's join her. Let's expand and upskill. Okay, here we go. If and only if you've lost your job, it's time to only pay the minimum on your credit card. But even so, again, be your own advocate. Call the bank. Find out if there are any COVID relief programs. The bank's not going to call you and tell you. They're not going to volunteer the information. You have to make the move. I'm a coach. We're all coaches. And so here we go. Get help for emotional and financial blocks. People pleasing, fear, guilt, obligation will drain your bank account. Okay? The horror stories are real. Put on your oxygen mask. Ask for the money you don't pretend that, I don't hurt their feelings. Get your money. And newsflash to parents, your children can borrow to go to school. You cannot borrow in retirement. Don't work like that. No bank giving you a loan after 65. So if you I've poured everything into my children, they'll remember me when I get old. Yeah? Okay. Try it. Just tell me how that works in 20 years. Here we go. Yes. Oops. Again, speak to your banker, improve your returns. It can be done. And even if you are blessedly financially stable in this COVID time, get a copy, it's free, of your credit report. Find out what is happening in that side of your life. Don't neglect it. Plan with your insurance agent to get living benefits. Life insurance is thought of as this death sentence, and you're going to buy it because you're soon dead. No, you will live. What happens if some critical illness happens? What happens if an accident happens? Then you'll need insurance. But guess what? There is a strategic way to buy it. Okay? You can buy a policy and get what is called a rider on the policy, which makes the cost of the policy less. It's less commission for the salesperson, so they don't promote it, but ask for it. Get living benefits. And again, sit down with a coach, reimagine your life. This is, COVID is a reset button. Okay, let's not waste a good. They said don't waste a good recession. Let's not waste a pandemic and be negative and down, down, down. No, it's time to have a fabulous life. It's time to reimagine what you want. And hey, we have a Fabulous Life private Facebook group inviting you in. These videos will be shared. We're not keeping the knowledge. We're gonna send it out. And all I want to know is how to support you as a financial coach. Hand over to you, Dennise.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, go put up your lights.
Yeah. I just want to thank the persons who tuned into the live, and I want to send much love to the people who will watch the replay. And again, be sure check us all out. All of the coaches are online. We're ready to serve you. We're here. Reach out.
Yeah.
My little thing for persons, we presented at least 3 areas today, and sometimes they're all intertwined.
Mhm.
But if you sit in meditation and see what area is calling out to you the most, many persons might think it's so funny, relationship, money, and health. 3 big areas. And sometimes one thing is pivotal for you. And you have to go inside to that subconscious that Liz spoke about to see what is calling me. Because you can't coach with all 4 of us at once, right?
Not at once, but you could do it in sequence.
There's always a focus that catalyzes everything else, and so one of the tools that I have learned is just to spin everything and then see which one make my heart bubble or give me goosebumps, or I can't stop thinking about what Liz said, or what Andy said, or what Dennise said. And that's perhaps what is calling you the most. So go where you're being called.
Yes, it is. So again, have a great evening. We will be back same time, same place. Check us out. Check out our Facebook pages. Check us out on social media. We're here for you. Hugs and kisses to everyone, and have an awesome
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much.